You know, I love doing podcasts, quick conversations. Steve and I'll do it in Bridgehampton office. But lately, I'm telling you, I feel like I got to get out on the road and I got to uncover value by bringing the podcast to the tools or the people that help me do my business. So today we're starting at Nick Martin Architects, and I cannot wait to show you around.
Ed, how are you?
I'm awesome.
Come on in.
Welcome to Martin Architects. We are here uncovering value because I think most importantly, as a broker and as a local community member, we got to use the tools and the resources that we have. And so I've come here because he did a humongous favor for me. We had a very challenging piece of land in Montauk that just couldn't get sold, on the market for over 10 years. And I knew that without someone like Nick understanding the land, I was never going to get it sold. So Nick, I think I want to walk through this challenge. What happened was the land was, I will say, somewhat challenged in that not only did it have lot line and setbacks and pyramid hindrances, it had visual line hindrances, like from multiple parcels. So I couldn't figure out what to tell the buyer that they could build until Nick came along and drew this, which is really breathtaking. So maybe tell me a little bit about how you and your team helped me solve that.
Yeah, thank you. So often the challenges in the sites are sometimes very clear, and other times they are not showing what the unknown values are or the unknown potential. And in this case, the unknown potential is really how to make private and public areas really shine. So in every house, we find that the sun angle and the way that the sun actually inhibits and dynamically energizes the house is often the most important piece. In other words, how do you live in a space? How does the morning, afternoon, and how do you basically create special areas? And in this case, the unlatent views were just unbelievably difficult to manage. How do you create a house that's got really good long-term value in its potential? So how does the family grow into the site? How do the challenges of the setbacks actually possibly create value? So in this case, by raising portions and lowering other portions and setting pieces into the hill, we're actually able to create this dynamic house that had all kinds of potential for the future, like whether the family grows into, grandchildren coming or guest houses. We allowed for the master plan for all of that.
Hang on, that was really good. I'm going to say that in broker speak. So that was architect speak. What he actually did was enable me to sell to the future buyer where the primary wing was and how the primary wing wasn't really connected to the other part of the house, but everyone had their sort of ample common areas and then their breakaway spaces. But the primary wing, we knew we had a mind-blowing lakefront view, but we couldn't figure out how to capture sunrise over the ocean. And so we end up putting I don't want to say cantilevered, but the big, huge, structure, the primary became on this high point, and it really changed the dynamic of the offering. So that was a game changer for me, the way you broke that out.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Also the scale, I often find that the houses that you see on the market that are somewhat spec or done quickly don't really engage the human scale and the mass. In other words, in the end, that house might be able to house like a 100-person party or a 25-person afternoon party, but you might be in there alone with your spouse or with a good friend. How does that feel? Like, how are you living in the house? And we're all about that, like how we create organic, modern, or historic, traditional kinds of spaces that are memorable and that shine and let people shine inside.
Yeah, that was. So again, back to the way I would say that is my buyers usually, call it easy, a couple, and the extended family will visit, but they don't live there, right? So they play it out to where a couple lives in the house, call it year round, but how do they live? And where's the kitchen to them? Because when the family's there, it's a different house. So there's almost like two different houses. So this common area becomes where everyone's meeting, but everyone else still gets the private wing. So thank you for that solution. I'm going to step into the next one, which is how could Nick add value to a seller, right? We just heard that, right? He helped me solve, he put a beautiful house on a piece of land, added value.
And it worked.
Oh, it worked. It was a beautiful thing. That was a gift, and it was an amazing trade. And thank you very much for the help there. And then we spoke about it. We were in the paper. It was a very nice sale. And we started chatting. And I said, Nick, how could we do it again, but on the other side of the trade? Meaning, if the buyer's looking and they know the market, let's just use round numbers, $3 million is their budget, and they've seen everything on the market, and there's nothing that speaks to them. They don't want to put lipstick on a pig. They really want to do a genuine house that they can live in forever, called a legacy play, meaning they want to buy this and be done. That's a Nick story, right? Meaning, I think you're better off, instead of scouring the market and looking for land and figuring out what you can do and renovate, get an architect, draw your dream house. And this is my example here. So I said, Nick, give me the perfect little 1-floor, 3-bed, 3-bath house with a pool. He did. So you build this beautiful house. What are we calling this house?
That's a Sagaponic Field to Ocean.
It's unbelievable. Just a perfect little house on 1 floor for $2 million. Now you could custom design this whole entire home with landscaping, pool, grounds, patio, the whole bells with Nick. And then you've got a $2 million end game. Now you go to the broker and you're looking for a piece of land, right? You want $1 million piece of land to keep in the $3 million budget. But as a broker, if you drop a Nick Martin house for $2 million on a $1 million piece of land that Ed Bruehl helped you find, it's worth way more than $3 million. So there's the adding value, but working with Nick prior is critical.
Yeah, in the end, a problem is a problem. A challenge is a challenge. And we have done, of course, extremely high-end, very unique, special houses. And we've also worked in SIP systems, panel systems, and methods that bring great value, much lower than Hampton numbers, and enjoy the challenge and help families and help artists. We're currently putting up a 3,500 square foot studio for a dear friend and artist, and it is a game changer for him. And how are we able to do that? By looking at the bottom line, knowing the market, knowing all the builders, and figuring out how to fix that issue, because all of us know the challenges that we face in this area. So we've done an awful lot of work and had great success in the lower, say, $1 to $3 million zone, where you're getting 5-6 bedrooms and incredible high ceilings and unique fixtures, but we do it all in a unique way. And I find it fantastic, because really it isn't a Hampton house. It's a special home for the family, and we have that ability. Our team is just apprised of all. We have people who are builders turned architects who have been engineers. We have interior designers. We've done landscape design, and we have a sister company that is a contracting firm. So in the end, we know how to get it done, and love to use if you have a brother or a friend who's a great builder, love to work with them. But overall, the system to make it happen is there. It's just not typical. And we have the wherewithal to be able to make that happen.
Yeah, so I'm going to break that down in terms of some mathematical equations about what we just talked through. So if you were to go to a spec product, right? You want to be a $3 million buyer and you're looking to buy a $3 million house. You're then going to purchase the spec builder's house on the land that they've already acquired. So the profit must be in that spec offering, right? Which is fine, understandable, that's the marketplace. But in order to capture value and build your dream house custom, you're better off sitting with Nick, drawing the future that you want to live into, and the value will already be there. And I think that's the gift of Hamptons Real Estate is not just a home or a money pit. None of my clients treat it like that, and I'll be really specific with my clients, are very savvy, but every buyer, seller, or client that I work with intimately treats real estate as if it was a line item in the portfolio, not a money pit. So the idea of owning a house like this, heaven, done, legacy, and then they will also buy other properties as just rentals.
Yeah. I mean, one other thing is the process should be interesting and fun. It should be a learning process. And how can we do it sustainably? There are wonderful ways and interesting ways to make sure this house is net zero. And the materials and who we use, all of the family of people and products that we engage believe in it. And I think one step further is, how does the family learn how to actually be excited to be home?
That's nice.
How do they enjoy the process in doing it, avoiding all those pitfalls of budget and scope creep and do something for the environment, do something for themselves.
Hold on, that was good. Did you just say that by involving the whole family in the process of building the house early, they're more involved in the end
Oh
product?
yeah.
Oh wow, that's
I mean,
good.
they learn
Never
how
really thought
to
through that.
find what is it that makes them excited, what
And so
spaces in their life.
each child or every member of the family gets to throw a little contribution, and they feel like they're part of the house. That's really neat.
I've always found that if you reach in your mind, there's a space or time where you remember something special, a place, whether it was as a child or as a grown-up, that really spoke to you. And that space is often, the sun just came exactly at 2 p.m. perfectly. I would sit there with a book and I'd read, or this was a wonderful area that would just, make me feel like, doing my best.
Yeah.
And that is not by accident. That's something that takes years of experience to learn how to do. And if you bring the family along in the journey,
Yeah.
everyone gets excited and it allows them to be a part of it. And that's the joy of what we do.
That is really, really cool.
Being an educational and really a fun part of this process.
Yeah.
So for
That
us,
is
it's the most amazing thing in the world, and we love to share it. And as a community, I think there's lots of good in thinking sustainably, thinking about the future, and thinking about the family first and what they're after.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So that's back to the service, right? Classic service rendered. He enjoys it. I love it when it happens.
Mm-hmm.
So I walked around the beautiful Nick Martin architect space, and the landscaping here is top shelf. And I'm kind of a landscaping snob because I'm in the business. Now, I like the spec houses. I like the steel rail. I like the privet. I like sod. But this is a little different. Tell us a little bit about this. And I didn't know you had, the ability to do landscape.
I would say, my wife and I have always believed in sustainability and native plantings and pollination gardens. And at our own house, we have a 4-acre parcel in Sagaponack, and my wife has been adamant, and Christina Martin, in trying to manage that sustainably. And how can you create joy in a family acknowledging and understanding how the garden grows? So, there can be edible gardens. There can be, so we have all kinds of nut trees and berries and all kinds of vegetation. Here, I'm on Montauk Highway. We're 3 doors west of Cinderella and Bridgehampton, and it's a oasis, really. There's all kinds of pollination going on. We have native plantings. It's a meadow. There's zero in the way of hardscaping. It's all stone dust, which is really a European background. We have some existing plantings, but the rest is really all part of our environment. And it's interesting, if you look at this general small ecosystem, this is truly the heart of that ecosystem, and I'm proud of it. And
so I got to jump in. Most people do not do that. Just so you know, your average architect will not look at the whole entire grounds and treat the land as if it was also part of the architectural paperwork. Because for my world, I used to go architect, and then we would have landscape architects. That's 2 different phone calls.
Right.
But being able to work on this together, like think through this, right? Your dad, your kids are involved. Not only are they involved in finishes and fixtures and flow and floor plan and dimensions, you get that learning element. But you take them outside and you teach them about the garden and local herbs and trees and birds and bees. Those are heaven lessons.
It's amazing to live that process. And
that's great.
I think for a lot of people in the city, they're very concerned about ticks and the way that the environment works. And actually, there are methods of managing that. And there are methods also of understanding rock gardens, dry riverbeds, how meadows work. You can still have an amazing grassy space, but let it be sustainable. There's no need for the nitrogen. And someone I just have to say has always been a mentor is Edwina Von Gaal and her Pure Earth project. And she came here and gave us the seal of approval, which is the Pure Earth project. And Edwina has just been really just a searchlight in the darkness of understanding all that. And I have to give her a great big praise for that. But it's all like where you start. Like, let's start now and move into the future. and let's build sustainably. Let's do things for families and the way they live, and have some fun while we're doing it.
Yeah.
We have meetings that are, I can't tell you, everyone's enjoying the process,
Yeah.
and it's an amazing place to live and work, and thank you so much for the opportunity.
I love the community. I love being here. I love the fact that we have good schools, and both my daughters, I got a Tulane and an FIT. They're off and rolling, so this community can develop wonderful people. But the people who are here want to work with other people, and we want to work with the people that we love. So being here is because I love what he does, and then just being here, like, oh my goodness, I didn't know you did landscaping also. So now I've got other things to pitch and share, and go about my business with one more tool in the shed, if you will. So I think let's try to wrap it up here. Is there anything you want to ask me? Is there anything I should have asked you?
I would say, there's a lot that happens in these deals. How do you bring the trust in? I can't even tell you how many brokers I know, and how many mortgage people, and how many builders I know. And obviously we're a very active community, but how do you do it in a way that feels right? How do you do it in a way that people trust you? That's, to me, the most important thing.
That is such a good question. Didn't expect that, but thank you. The answer is you have to care about them as if they were family, and they are. So I've got to the point, 2 decades in my career, this isn't a brag, but I don't need to work with people that I don't want to work with. And I don't need to run around doing rentals that I don't need to do. But I do need to serve people I love. And the people that I do love, I love serving. So my answer to the question short term would be, when I walk into a kitchen table and we're sitting down, I usually say something like, I do not think you should sell your real estate. Ever. Never sell Hamptons Real Estate. And that changes the dynamic, because I believe it. I think you should hire Nick, find the value in whatever piece of property you have, enhance the landscaping, add a garage, add a pool, add an accessory structure, do some bells and whistles, and then rent it or keep it. And then put it on the line item in the portfolio so it's not a money drag, and then do it again with Nick. So you're continuing to build the portfolio with stocks, bonds, and real estate. And so the trust is really, I want to work with you forever. I'm in no hurry for a trade. I don't want to trade. I don't want your rental money. I'm here to make you money in the portfolio in 5 or 10 years because we're friends.
I see.
And that creates trust.
That sounds good. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it's all about. And we're trying to just continue the process. I have 3 children. They went through the one-room schoolhouse in Sagaponic.
Nice.
I served on the board for countless years, and I believe in that community. One went through Pearson and Sag Harbor. The others 2 are at Ross and do the Waldorf program. And it's just an incredible place.
It is an incredible place.
We do work all over. We're finishing an apartment in the city. We have potentially something in Costa Rica. And it all builds trust from the first conversation.
So if I'm a local community member thinking about this, or I'm in the city and I see this podcast and I'm thinking, no kidding, that's a good introduction, babe. Why don't we go see Nick? Can they come in? Are we open here?
Oh yeah,
Can I just send a
shop,
phone call? Like, how am I getting
shop's open. Interestingly, we have an artist in residence program. We do a couple of shows a year. Another one's
in
coming
this
up
space.
In this space.
I mean, this office is mind-blowingly gorgeous, you guys. It's like a house. Like it's literally like a museum with a house, and it's got a kitchen. I could throw a few parties here too.
Yeah, let's do it.
Really, it's special.
Anyway, so it's a great place. Come by, check it out, and we'd love to help with whatever we can.
Oh, I love that. Let's leave it there. That was awesome, Nick. Thank you.
All right, cheers, man.
Excellent.
Yeah.